My name's Q, and I'm going to be your host this evening for 300 Voices in 300 Days. And here with me is Miss Anita Starks, and we're going to be speaking with her today. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. So if we could start off, just to give a little introduction to our viewers here at TAN TV, if you could tell them, a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where did you attend school,
Okay. Originally born in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, wow.
And moved to California, my family, when I was about 5. Went to school in Pomona, California. Graduated from Gary High School. And from there went on to college, Mount San Antonio, and then University of Laverne.
Okay.
And I'm an avid learner. So I think we have to, regardless of school or what have you, that we have to continue to grow.
Yes, I totally agree. We have to continue that education, and never stop learning.
Correct.
So you said, you went to college
in Southern California.
Okay, in California.
University of Laverne. Yes.
Laverne, okay. And what was your major there?
Business.
Business?
Yes, and life.
That's a great major. Everybody should take that major.
Exactly.
Okay. And so what do you currently do now? How did that transition you into what you currently do now? Where did you start from there after you finished school?
I worked for General Telephone for about 12 years, and I worked with contract management. And in that particular department, we worked with staffing companies and companies that were wanting to do business with General Telephone.
Okay.
And at one point, we were working with staffing contracts, and I saw some of the challenges they were having trying to find suppliers to give them the type of service that they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I worked for them for 12 years, so I knew that I could service them.
Yeah.
So, long story short, a lot of prayer and support from my husband, I decided to quit General Telephone and start my own company.
Oh, wow.
My own staffing company, and I thank and praise God, my first contract was with General Telephone. And a lot of people think it was easy for me because I worked there.
Because you worked there?
Not at all.
No, it probably was harder.
It was.
Anything, 'cause you really have to kind of prove yourself at that point. You work for them, but now you're doing this. Your own business setting. So how long have you had the staffing agency that Get You 10? When was that established?
Well, I've been in staffing industry for about 30 years.
Oh.
And back to when I started that first contract with General Telephone, I had to go back to approach my ex-boss because he was over contract management.
Mm-hmm.
So the hardest thing was to convince him that, I've been working for General Telephone for 12 years. How can I run a staffing industry?
Yeah.
So, a staffing business. So he gave me an opportunity after about a year. And I was able to service them successfully like I knew that I could because I knew the divisions, I knew the personalities, I knew what would be a great fit for them. So that started, and my first contract from General Telephone, or the second contract, was with Aerojet. And I remember being in business about 2 years, and my goal and my dream was always have a $1 million company. I didn't know why, because everybody talked about, being a multi-million-dollar company. I didn't know. But I wanted to be $1 million company. And so my second contract was with Aerojet for $50,000, and I was so excited. And within 2 years, I grew my business to handle that first contract for $1 million.
That's awesome. That's amazing. That's a wonderful goal that you've set forth and just kept pushing right along to get that. So.
The other side of that is my expense was like $995,000. So
wow.
I made that $5 profit. Well, I didn't know. I did a lot of things, trial and error.
Experience.
So that's how I grew. I learned from all those mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what would you say if you can tell our viewers here at TAN TV, what would you say was the inspiration behind you choosing this profession? Because this is giving back to the community, you're helping with staffing, helping people find jobs. What was that? What inspired you to do that?
Well, when the company was probably 2 years old, I met a young lady who had been recently incarcerated and was looking for work. And she couldn't find any work to support her family. So I think from the time I met her, within 6 months or so, she was back in the system because she didn't have that support.
Yeah, she didn't have support.
So that gave me the thought that someone needs to help these individuals, because if not, this is what's going to happen.
Continuing.
So I put some programs together to help women who had been recently incarcerated, and I was determined to find work for those women. Mm-hmm. And after I worked with women who were recently incarcerated, then we have our young males, our young fathers who are too proud to ask for help. You know, so we put programs together in California to focus on helping those individuals that either had disabilities or something, some type of barrier to keep them underemployed or not employed at all. So we just kind of grew from there.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that. I know recently I did a project on the school to prison pipeline, and we talked a lot about that and how the cycle of their incarceration, and they fall back into this cycle without that rehabilitation or without those opportunities. So that's great that you are giving them and giving back and giving those opportunities to the youth and the people who have went down this path and need to kind of have some support now. So I know you have a lot of certifications, and if you could tell our viewers a little bit about your certifications that you have in addition to your degree in business and owning your own business.
Well, my certifications, I'm a SBE, Small Business Enterprise, DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, AAE, African American Enterprise, ABC, you name it, we have. But they're critical, I think, for our success, and particularly here in San Antonio. When I was in California, I was certified as a minority business and had numerous awards and recognition for that. However, here in San Antonio, it's a must if you want to grow your business. And the opportunities here are amazing. So I would tell anyone to get those certifications, follow through. There's a lot of support here with Bexar County. The city is stepping up. I mean, other corporations are identifying small minority woman-owned businesses and helping us to grow in that respect. Okay.
And if you could tell us a little bit more about some of the organizations I know you're a part of. I know you were appointed to President Clinton's Youth Opportunity Program, so if you can tell us a little bit about the involvement with that and NABO, just some of those organizations that you kind of contributed your time to.
Okay. NABO, I was past president, two-term president in California for NABO, which is the National Association for Women Business Owners. And through my affiliation with NABO, I was invited to the White House. And again, working on some of those programs I was telling you about, helping to rehabilitate our young ladies who have been incarcerated. And I got invited to meet with the president. He was going through the country, and he was promoting his youth opportunity program. So I got invited to participate in that, and it was an awesome experience to be recognized at that level for the work that we were doing locally. So it was awesome. It was the president, it was there were several, your Magic Johnsons and your Edward James Olmos and all those folks doing the PSA announcements. And at that time, if you remember, they had programs going on called Read to Achieve. So we were all a part of that. And it was, like I said, it was an experience that'll, something that's going to be with me forever,
Well, that's awesome. And I know you also have received Women of Achievement Award as well. That was appointed to you. So, and you received that award, who did you receive that award from?
That was from the state of California at that time. It was Governor Gray Davis. We were recognized again for some of the accomplishments and programs we had put together. And I'm here in San Antonio, and my goal is to duplicate some of those programs that were a success for us. I don't know why I'm here in San Antonio. I didn't know where Texas was. The only thing I knew that Texas was in the way from me going from California to Alabama. So I thought if we moved Texas, I can get there sooner. So, but the Lord thought differently. We went to a family reunion in Birmingham, and my husband and I spent the weekend in New Orleans, and that brought us through, going home, brought us through San Antonio. And it was just different. It was a little quiet, a little country, but you could see downtown. And, I got a magazine, and it was saying, had an article about AT&T at the time looking for women in minority-owned business to, for some of their programs. And one thing led to another, and within a year, my husband and I were here. And, in our new home, having dinner, and the business was going, and we are starting to implement those programs.
Well, that's awesome. I thank you for coming down here and trying to give back to the community. What do you feel your biggest contribution is to San Antonio that you've made so far? Because I know you've been here for about 12 years, you said. So what do you feel in that time? I know you're still working to make additional contributions. What do you feel so far? is your greatest contribution?
Well, I would say two. I think one is having that passion to help, again, those folks that have been incarcerated, helping our youth with disabilities, getting them placed, teaching vocational adjustment training, and truly getting them prepared for work. What I find is that I think a lot of employers are not honest with our young folks and what they need to do to prepare themselves for work. And that's something that we take serious. We would tell them the belt needs to come up, the pants need to have a belt, the tattoos need to be covered, the women, how you dress appropriately, from your underclothes to your stockings, and there's a preconceived notion of who and what we are and what our young folks are. And I'm trying my best to not have that be a truth, a reality in what we're doing for placement of these young folks. And the other is coaching, mentoring young women to start their own business, how to become certified, how to use those certifications to grow your business, and to be really, truly self-sufficient.
So that's amazing. Well, thank you for all those contributions and caring and trying to give back and starting, because I do think it starts at the youth. If we can start mentoring them now, they're our future. So that is really important. So I wanted to know, what do you like most about San Antonio? I know that you said that this is kind of a stop on the way to Alabama, but since you've been here and you're stuck here now, we'll probably keep you here. So what do you like most about San Antonio?
I think the people they're really friendly. Well, let me take that. They're either friendly or they're not. I just happen to run into the ones that are friendly. In my circle or my business associates or what have you, the willingness to share information, I think that's critical. And I want to say the Riverwalk, because we all do, but it goes deeper than that. I think the folks here and the opportunities are just amazing.
The growth and opportunities, yes.
And again, I would suggest everyone take advantage of it. And I put the word out myself in California to some of my associates that you need to be here or consider being here.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And what would you say, why do you believe that it's important to tell our stories? I know you're telling your story where you started in California and how you've transitioned here and implement all of those things that you were implementing in your business there and bringing that here. Why do you feel it's important to tell our stories, especially when we think about some of the people that you're helping, the women who've been incarcerated and rehabilitation and all that? Why do you feel that it's important for us to get these stories out there to our youth? And
I think it's important because we have to help and support each other. What I didn't mention when I started my business and not knowing what I was doing, I wasted a lot of money, trial and error, and afraid to ask, and didn't have anybody to ask.
Resources.
And there was one or two women, African American, my peers that I went to and didn't get any type of help or support. It's like, each police is on his own beat. This is mine and I'm keeping it. And I don't want to do that. I made so many mistakes and lost a lot of money. If I could help any other young woman, business owner, anyone starting a business, not to make, duplicate those mistakes. That's what I think, that's part of what I'm here for. And I would always tell women, ask. The Lord says we have not because we ask not. So, and I'm not afraid to ask anymore. So we have to ask for help. And the other thing is to find a mentor, someone that you admire in that area, who's successful in the area that you're interested in. Because working with a mentor is going to do nothing but drive you harder.
Yes,
and
encourage you.
Exactly. It's going to drive you harder and give you more of those tools, that you need to, again, build your self-esteem as you move forward. As a matter of fact, my mentor was probably my biggest competitor in executive recruiting world. But she was my mentor of business and my spiritual mentor. And we grew together. And I'm still, yes.
Yeah, I think that is important. And it's a valid point you made, mentioning that there are some women that are not, when you ask for help, they were kind of on their own little path. And I think that's important. So I really appreciate the fact that you're trying to help other people and saying, hey, if you want to do this, you want to be a business owner, ask. I'm willing to help, because we need more individuals like yourself, more women in business, helping other women in business, because that's how we can all grow together. And I think it's really important too in our culture that we do that to
Yes.
uplift each other and help each other grow, and then we can break the cycle of the school to prison pipeline, as I mentioned earlier, the
Correct.
incarcerations, and it's important for our history and going forward into the future. So, well, thank you so much, Miss Anita Starks, for speaking with us here for 300 Voices in 300 Days. I think that you are a very influential woman, and it's important for our youth to see a positive image in our culture moving forward, and I aspire to do the same thing as well. So thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
this has been Q with 300 Voices in 300 Days. Stay tuned as we will continue on this path, speaking with more influential and empowering leaders throughout the community in San Antonio.